Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm very lucky to have Kath taking any time out of her wonderful life right now. And is it Antigua?
Antigua.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm very lucky to have Kath. Wait. Is it Antigua?
Antigua.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm very lucky to have Kath. Is it Antigua?
Antigua.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay. I'm going to sit down. Kath, please take over. Is it Antigua?
Antigua.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay. I'm going to sit down. Kath, please take over.
Antigua. Okay. Am I okay to begin now? Is this right? Are we just waiting on me now? Is everything sorted? Okay. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the word to go from Andrew or Nelly. Or even Jonathan. Anyone, tell me to go. Okay. I am assuming everything is good to go. I'm hoping so. That somehow it was just some sort of something happening. I don't know. Maybe I was a contributing cause. So, okay, Jonathan, can you let me know if you're still hearing the sounds, please? Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Just give me a yes, Jonathan, or a no, please. No. Okay. Okay. Andrew's given me the go-ahead. I don't want to turn my sound up in case it happens again.
No, it was me. It won't happen again. I'm going to dip out and join you on the main stage to watch you.
And who's giving me the go ahead?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Kath.
I've turned my sound off, so we should be fine. Thank you all for being here, and a few fun and games and everything at the beginning, but we're going to get right into it. Who I am. So I'm here because I have been in email marketing now for 21 plus years, scarily almost 22 years, I think. And I'm CEO and founder of Holistic Email Marketing. We're a boutique consultancy, which very much focuses on strategy and really helping our clients to get the best results out of email marketing. I'm also the author of Holistic Email Marketing. You'll get a chance to have a little look at the book in a second. So I'll talk more about that then. And there's how you can be contacting me and everything. Love to hear from you. How I started off in email marketing was the same as most people. I ended up falling into it by accident. I had a small design, web design agency, and one of my clients said, "Oh, there's this new thing called email." And I went, "Oh, okay." So my program and we worked out this nucleus of an email marketing program. So it was the nucleus of EasyMail, which was my ESP that I ended up having for quite a few years. During that time, that's where I, sort of learnt my deliverability, because I'm managing all the IPs and the servers and everything, and I'm literally hands-on, understanding the customer's perspective, but also the actual infrastructure and all the technicalities of everything. So I've kind of learnt the hard way, and nowadays I tend to very much focus on the strategy side of things, and you're going to be seeing this with the case study with PrinterPix. So there we go. There's the book. So email marketing, holistic email marketing. We've got if you can wait for a couple of days, I know you're all just dying to go and buy it, but just joking. But if you wanted to wait for a couple of days till the 21st and 22nd of December, you can buy the Kindle version just for 99 cents or 99p. Absolute bargain. So, if you're keen to get the Kindle version, wait for then. Otherwise, it's available in paperback. It's still available in Kindle now, but you'll just pay a bit more for it. And so very, very exciting. Here are some of a sampling of some of the clients that we have the absolute privilege of working with. They're all different. They all have their own challenges. And I love being my little Sherlock Holmes, sort of getting it all together and working out issues. Not all of them, of course, are deliverability issues. Some do, some don't. Some are just, hey, where do we go? How do we get there? That kind of thing. So I love working with them all. But let's get down to the PrinterPix case study, which is why we're all here, right? So PrinterPix is an e-commerce company with operations actually quite global. And they were having some deliverability issues with their two main regions, which was the US and the UK. Now, this was mid 2019 that they came to us. And they said, we've got a bit of an issue. And I saw that they had 0% deliverability in Gmail and 14% in Hotmail. So a bit of an issue. They had two dedicated IP addresses, which the US and the UK shared. So that's kind of like the very premise in a nutshell. I had seen, because using eData Source, I was able to go back to look at 2 years worth of data using panel data. And so I was able to sort of see that the problem was actually escalating. They didn't begin the year like that. They actually began the year with 90% in both Yahoo Mail and Hotmail and AOL, but 30% in Gmail and 20% in Hotmail. And then, as you can see, it reduced throughout the year. So by the time we were brought in, things were pretty dire. there, we're talking May, and so we're also then thinking, wait on, in a few months we've got peak periods, so we have to get everything all ready. So that's when we decided to take a very interesting approach, and it is true to our name. It was a holistic approach. So the holistic approach was really all about looking at everything, not just looking at the data and not just looking at, some quick little wins with deliverability. We're going through and looking at the entirety of the program. What was missing, so where the missed opportunities were and everything. So what we did was we basically used our formula, and our formula is a three-step one, which is we discover, right? So discover is an audit. We then devise the strategy, and then we develop. So we go and make all the implementations necessary in order to achieve the results that we need. So there were some pretty key contributing factors, and some of them were inactive, so they had a high percentage of inactives. And because we were able to get the panel data in eData source, we were able to get a good gauge on that as well. And I guess because we had the 2 years history, that just gave us great insights, because it meant that we didn't have to wait and spend time on sending out campaigns with seed data. We could get to work straight away. So that's what we did. And we identified that there were some technical issues, such as improperly configured SBF and DMARC keys happening there. Had a high spam complaint. There was no, basic things like no abuse at and no postmaster at addresses, and therefore they weren't also registered where they should have been. And then, like I said, they had a high inactive database too. So putting all that together, we went, okay, let's just go and look at this. We're going to turn it into 3 phases. First phase is the most important phase. We're going to go and improve the infrastructure and all the processes. The second phase is we're going to be then optimizing and really working on increasing those conversions, right? Once we've got the deliverability underway. And then the third phase was building out the rest of the email program, because we had done an audit and we had identified what was missing and what was really, really needed and what would be beneficial, not just for conversions, but also for deliverability, which in turn affect and help conversions. So essentially what we did with the infrastructure side of things, we launched a 6-step reconstruction plan. First thing was to fix those technical records. So the DMARC, the SBF, get those abuse and postmaster, records in place. The next thing, because data is so important with, with deliverability, we cleaned the data using Fresh Address, and got some great results. So that then left me feeling a lot more confident for us to be able to begin to commence. We also, though, suppressed the inactives. And the reason why we suppressed the inactives, and this is only a temporary measure, but we suppressed the inactives because essentially we wanted to be able to give Gmail and Outlook a really good impression of us. And so in order to do that, we had to hide those that weren't opening, that weren't engaging, because that's how, Gmail and Outlook really grade you or score you on your deliverability, is very much, how engaged is your audience. So we went, okay, just temporarily, we're going to be suppressing them until things are looking better. Then we went and followed the sending strategy called, which I've called the Halo sending strategy. I didn't create it. I've heard of a few rumors of a few people, including Steve Henderson, created it. I also know Andrew Bonar has also used it for many, many years as well. But just for my purposes, it makes sense. I just call it a Halo sending strategy because people understand how it works almost immediately after saying it. So essentially how that works is that you break your database, or the list that you're going to be sending to in that particular campaign, and this will change on a daily basis too. You've got to understand that. So you have to be quite regimented with it. But you break it into, say, 4 segments. You'll have your, your most recently opened, your next recently opened, then those that have opened, fairly recently, but not overly recently, and then you've got your inactives. And the whole idea is that you just simply, as soon as the first segment has finished sending, you start the second one. And so you don't want there to be any gaps within the time. And then how the ISPs view this is essentially is they're viewing it as one single campaign, which it is, right? But the last 2 segments are actually benefiting from the good impression that the first 2 segments gave off, right? Because they're more active. So that's basically how that works. And it just worked a treat as well. It works a treat for all my clients, but it worked a treat for Pinapix in this case too. Then we decided to virtually test to boost the open rate. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment, and the reason why we decided to virtually test it rather than actually physically test it. And we designed and implemented a new template. So, as I said, we implemented or called upon a couple of tactical maneuvers. One of them I wouldn't normally do. If anyone knows me and has heard me speak, I'm not a huge fan of open rates at all, and certainly not of relying upon them for information and for making decisions upon, right? But there's rhyme. Rhyme? No, there's reason to my rhyme. Well, whatever. Okay. And then we also had the new look for the email design, which I'll go into a minute. But essentially how it worked with the open rates is we really, really wanted to, because of the factor that the ISPs really focus on that as a measure of engagement, and we weren't going to be getting great conversions until we fix up the deliverability. And I said, well, we've got to mirror what the ISPs are doing. So we have to focus on the open rates, even though we had done previous tests and recognized that open rates do not equate, in Printerpix's case, to conversions on a general basis, right? So we prefer to measure clicks and conversions rather than open rates and use them as our success metrics. So, but in this case, we just went, okay, we know we're going to take a bit of a dip for a short period on the conversions, but we have to get, the ISPs on board, and we have to get them to like us again. So we have to really focus on getting increased open rates, not necessarily increased conversions, because, as I said, in Printerpix's case, one does not equate to the other. So that's what we did. And to help us to do that, we used Touchstone, which is a virtual testing tool. The reason why we did that virtually is because we actually didn't want to be showing our losing ones to the ISPs, right? So we tested it virtually using our past data, and also we called on a little bit too of Touchstone's aggregated data as well. And therefore we went and tested 10 subject lines every single time, and here the key metric for success was actually the open rates. We went with those and we got some great results. So we started finding that, with the inactives being actually suppressed, and with us focusing on open rates, we were getting good results, better results than we had been getting, because we're really, really concentrating our efforts on it. The other thing, which is really, really, really key, was there was a new look for the email design, for the emails as well. Previously, they'd been very, very much reliant upon image-based ones. And as you can see, they are quite long, or they could be quite long, certainly when they're selling multiple products. So on that basis, then, when it's full images, very, very minimal text, if any, what happens then is that, your image to text ratio is quite high. So what we want to do then is we went, okay, we need to go and create a full-on template, HTML, and we are going to be, so it's going to have lots of live text. It's going to have bulletproof buttons with the call to actions. It's going to be having alt text, and then just the images as and when we need them. How we were able to do it was really, really good because it didn't actually look that different to the design that they were doing. But the deliverability was amazing. The uplift was incredible. And so we started finding that we're getting better, more placement, inbox placement. We're getting better results as well. We're getting better conversions. I said, we would suffer, but because things were so dire, we actually, just by doing these few things, we got better results. And one of the things I want to say about PrinterPix is they're an awesome team. They followed our instructions, very detailed instructions, which were continually changing because we're optimizing, we're reviewing, we're coming up with a whole heap of hypotheses to be testing later on down the track. We're doing all of this, and they understand the full picture and the full significance of customer experience for conversions. And so here's an example. This was just from May this year, and I've used this in the book. And we can see here that they've carried the same image from the email over to the landing page. So there's absolutely no disconnect. And they would create a dedicated landing page for every single email that they're doing. And those emails are very likely, like the one on the right, the landing page, they're going to have multiple products. So incredibly dedicated team. And I know that helps significantly because, doesn't matter how much you improve deliverability and how much you optimize your email. If you're taking them to a landing page, then they just go, what am I doing here again? You've lost them, basically. So phase 2. So this is after we've done the template. We've gone and done some testings to increase virtual testing to be increasing the open rates. We've gone and fixed up all of the infrastructure and everything as well. And we've, of course, cleaned the list. So we are now looking at doing some real life A/B testing. And because things are looking better at this stage, right? Things are looking so much better that we were actually getting fairly good results. It was something like we were getting around 90% inbox placement within 10 weeks after literally day one of starting, which, considering how dire it was, we were pretty chuffed. So we went, well, we want better for deliverability and we want better conversions, right? We want to be maxing this out and making the most of it. And also then remember, we have to then start ramping up for the peak period time too. So we need to get some learnings under our belt in readiness for the peak period. So that's what we did. We went and, we've gone and done that phase 1. We've gone and created all of that information. We've gone and tick box, we've done. And then we went and focused on those boosting conversions. I've included a couple of here, but, we did so much more than that. Like I said, the team is just like, I would say, we're going to do this, go and create some hypotheses, let me have a look. And then we would go and, refine them, work on them. They deliver them. We look at the results. And because they did them, so we would create one hypothesis, and then we would use that hypothesis over multiple campaigns so that we were absolutely sure that, it wasn't an anomaly, that we could take that as an actual insight that we can be then implementing into further campaigns. So that's what we did. And that was a pretty exciting time. And the results were, higher deliverability because the A/B testing helped us because we got better results because of it. And therefore it gave us better deliverability too. So, it's a really, really nice circle. Then came the gearing up for PrinterPix's 2019 season, peak season. So that then went, okay, so now we're kind of like changing again. We're still using the Halo sending strategy. We're still using the template that we had designed. We're still refining it. Everything that we're doing that I've said we didn't just do once. We were continually reviewing, refining, and optimizing as well. And so then we said, well, we've got to start ramping up. So we need to start putting in those inactives. Now, as you can imagine, that was a bit of a scary moment, right? going, oh, we're doing so well. We've got 90% deliverability. We're doing really, really well. And now, this could send us going backwards. But again, using the halo sending strategy, we were able to just tag a small percentage of the inactives, and we're doing this over quite a good period, onto the end of that for each campaign. And then we just started warming them up, and they started hearing from us. And we were able to, get rid of those that had bounced and all the rest of it during that time, and without having any impact on us at all. In fact, over the time, we actually got up to the 100% Gmail, 100% Outlook, 100% Yahoo, and AOL. So it was pretty awesome. So we went and did that whole ramping up strategy for the holiday period. We ramped up not just, the volume by adding the inactives, but we also ended up ramping up the frequency as well. So we were sending 7 days a week. And when we originally had taken out the inactives, in order to keep the consistency happening, we actually started sending more frequently to the more frequently, recent openers. And they handled it. And we went, oh, that's kind of interesting. So, I mean, seriously, I'm giving you the highlights, the basic formula happening here. There was so much that was involved in here. I know, as professionals, you can just imagine all the rest of the details that I'm actually skipping out. But anyhow, let's get to the results, shall we? So the results for 2019, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas results. So over that 2-month period, the peak ones of November and December 2019, Printerpix received a year-on-year increase of 240% revenue for the UK and 297% increase in revenue for the US. Needless to say, they were very, very, very happy, right? So it was everything that they had done, all the hard work that they had put into it, it was all worth it. And the wonderful thing was, of course, is that they're not just going, okay, great, we've gone and done all of that work just for 1 year. It was all learnings. Everything we did, there was a rationale behind it. Or more often than not, there was a hypothesis behind it. And we're going, okay, did this work? Did this not work? And so then we were able to create a winning formula for Printerpix. And this is the key thing. Everyone will have a different formula because it's not going to be specific to them. But this one here, they're understanding their audience, and it was exciting times for them. The next thing is phase 3. Okay, great, we're doing well. Let's start building out then the rest of the email program. And the rest of the email program really, really was talking about things like what to do now with the inactives. We don't want to just only email them once a year during peak period. We want to be emailing them, on a regular basis, but without frustrating them. And so we created a strategy to be dealing with them on a regular basis. We also started adding personalization to our BAU campaigns, our regular campaigns, but also to the new life cycle campaigns and programs that we had set up. And that was a really, really big thing too, because they were missing a lot of those ones. And as I'm sure you all know, the automated programs, the life cycle programs, they get great engagement. And because they get great engagement and results, not only is it great for revenue, but it's also great for deliverability. So that was a nice little sort of icing on the cake that's going to be helping them into the future. So that's what we did there. And I would have loved to have been able to do that at the beginning, because it does help. But, we had to work with the resources that were available. And like I said, the team is so dedicated. But they're only a small team. Phenomenal, but small team. So, yeah. If I were to say what it was that we learned in a nutshell, we really well, the Printerpix team learned. I already knew this, but they really understood then, because they thought when I was going to come that, you know, I would just do an audit, I'd find out the problem, and I'd say change this, done and dusted. You know, one factor is all that needs to be done, or just clean your list and you're done and dusted. But it literally was, it was everything all together. A little tweak here, a massive tweak there, some optimization over here, and it all came together to give them that the results that they needed. So, you know, if I were to say it, deliverability is not just a standalone aspect of email marketing. It is, you know, and I will call upon the holistic approach here. The holistic approach means you're looking at all aspects of your email program, because that will affect your deliverability, same as your deliverability will be affecting all aspects of your email program. So that's kind of, so we've just passed Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Printerpix still our clients. We still work very closely with them, and still advising, still kind of like we call it consultant on hand. So we hold their hands with lots of things. If they've got questions, they ask us. And we helped them with the ramping up again for this year. Worked very closely with them and gave them the strategy. A few other changes had happened as well. They had a slightly different audience than the previous audience that they had. And then we've got COVID and all that kind of stuff. So it was okay. Well, things aren't going to be exactly the same as last year. Maybe they're not going to be as good, and you know, but we still have deliverability. We still need to make sure that, you know, we're ramping up accordingly. So we're putting all of these things in place. And yeah, the results from last week: 99% deliverability over this period across Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook. In AOL. 97% deliverability in Outlook, and this is across both US and UK. And so we're kind of chuffed with that. They sent the highest volumes ever, even higher than last year, because, you know, they're starting from a good place, because they had worked all through the year on, you know, and I think that's the key thing. They didn't just leave it and say, okay, great, that's it, done and dusted. You know, we were continually refining, working, optimizing the strategy, changing things, testing and everything throughout the year. And that has what, you know, all of that combined has delivered these results. So they sent the highest volumes ever. We're talking about like on Black Friday, you know, they were sending three emails to each of the countries, and, you know, to the full database. So it's huge, right? Big spikes. And I was prepared to sort of go, okay, we're possibly going to suffer some sort of repercussion for that. We didn't. Revenue-wise, it was the best year ever for that period as well. So that's it in a nutshell. I am within time. I'm incredibly impressed. Here again is a green version of my book. So like I said, you can go and grab it on the 21st and 22nd. You can get the Kindle version for just 99 cents or 99p. This case study is actually written in it. You will find out a lot more about the actual holistic approach, the philosophy that we abide by and that we actually use with all of our clients to great success. We had another client who's also e-commerce gifting client based in the UK, very large one. And again, we gave them a ramping up strategy to use for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. They did that. Certainly a fantastic, you know, email saying, Kath, we nailed it. We had the best year yet. It was absolutely brilliant. No deliverability issues, all the rest of it. And again, that's just because we're using that approach, and we're just not just doing the one thing. So like I said, yeah, great results. And I think we're going to be heading over to Ask the Experts, which is going to be held in the Holistic booth. Is that right, Andrew? And that's just because...
Yes, and everyone who's actually watched the session has already been given the link. So, yeah, whenever you're ready. hop across. And I think is the booth filling up yet, Nelly? Oh, they're probably listening to us saying goodbyes to each other. Is Jonathan in the booth?
Probably.
Yep. And yeah, there I can see the sessions live. So yeah, it's probably a good time. Have you got the link to join the booth, or do you want me to copy it across for you, Kath?
If you're talking to me, Andrew, I can't hear you because I have to have my speakers off. So you can text me.
Yeah, I'll or if you are you on Hopin? If you just jump into Hopin, every single one of the chat rooms, Nelly's yeah, copying and pasting it everywhere. So just jump into Hopin and yeah, join us in the session. We'll be waiting for you there.
So you can text me. Can't do it.
Okay, sorry.